Thank you. Okay, good morning everybody. Afternoon, sorry. Right, I'm going to give a little bit of a different perspective on things, a bit of a general sort of overview of what an S&C manufacturer does. Obviously we're at the end of the process often with renewals. You see the stuff arrive. There's quite a lot that goes on before that, various levels of engagement. I've put the title Keeping S&C Renewals Affordable. Basically my team told me that's what we're talking about today, so I put that in. But I'm not really that arrogant to believe that manufacturers have that much of an impact. We are important, but our supplied cost is a really small part of what everything that's been talked about today is. But what we can do, oh, hang on. There's supposed to be an animation. Sorry. Oh, there we go. So we've started with making it more affordable, but we're trying to work to keep it affordable. Sorry. Okay. So I'm going to talk to you first about Progress Rail. So Progress Rail, we're a Caterpillar company owned by a company that makes pencil cases, boots and some diggers. We are one of the global rail leaders. We have facilities across the world, in track, mainly in the United States and North America, but with some operations in Australia as well as our operations in the UK. We provide a comprehensive range of solutions through locomotives, freight car repairs, and the smaller part of the business is our infrastructure business. And track work, as we call it in America, we know it as S&C and P&C over here, is one of our most important growth areas. We try to leverage the power of Caterpillar, operating across 200 facilities across 19 countries, and increasingly leveraging that to be a more sustainable provider of everything we do. As a company, we've got 42 years of experience. On top of that, Caterpillar, 100 years of experience. It celebrated its centennial this year. And on top of that, Progress Rail UK has actually got 165 years experience and started with the advent of the railways. As a Caterpillar company, we hold ourselves to very, very high standards, looking at integrity, excellence, teamwork, sustainability, and commitment to our customers. So that gets the corporate bit done. So now I can talk about the UK, which is much more important. We operate out of 4 facilities across the UK. Our main facility up in South Queensferry, producing cast manganese crossings. We also operate in Sheffield, where we put the crossings together, we weld them, and then moving down to San Diego, where we put together the traditional track work, S&C, and then Beeston, where we put the full renewal together for everybody to inspect and hopefully get to the site right. I'm going to play a video because there's some better people to explain what we do and show you the insight. Some disclaimers. Is there noise? Is there volume on this? There is some. It's coming through. As the largest track work business outside of North America, Progress Rail Services UK is responsible for developing our international capabilities and our international presence. We're doing this through a variety of means. One is we're building some partnerships with various providers of different track technology. The market is changing, customers want to see more service, and we're looking at ways to do that. And we're also looking at working with different parts of the supply chain to reduce the cost and make our offering more efficient so that we can be more competitive in projects in various parts of the world.
One of the things that we're able to offer is not only manufacture bespoke solutions to suit a client's needs, but we can also help them develop the solution as they go along. So whether that's starting a product requirement doc, whether we go to site and do an analysis, we can do safety cases, and we can work with our engineering and assurance team to ensure that the client can get what they need when they're not very sure themselves. The cradle-to-grave approach also allows us to be able to go out site after, provide on-site support, installation and feedback following any certificates that we get later in life.
Many of the products and services and projects that we deliver are extremely complex, which draws on our technical expertise to configure the products, and our in-house UK manufacturing really assists us in keeping that in our supply chain and therefore in our control.
Progress Rail Services UK operates out of 4 different facilities across the UK, all with different specialisms and bringing different value to the market. So up in Scotland we have our foundry at South Queensferry. This foundry produces some of the largest and most complex cast manganese crossings installed anywhere on the railway globally, and has a fantastic quality record, delivery record. I'm very proud of that facility.
We have probably the best quality castings in the world, in my opinion. We can take your whatever design you wish, we'll manufacture it, make sure it suits your purpose, make the pattern, make the casting, machine it, deliver it and send it out to you.
Everywhere else in the world apart from the UK seems to have their train stations in the centre of the cities. Ours are kind of bent round the edge, the outskirts, round hills and edges, which means that the crossings that we manufacture are shaped with different types of geometry. It makes it very difficult unless, I'm not blowing our own trumpet here, but unless you work for South Queensferry or Sheffield, where the difficult becomes the normal.
We then moved down a bit south to Sheffield. At Sheffield we weld crossings. The manganese crossing is something that can't be welded directly to rail, so we have a special welding process that takes place in Sheffield.
So the Sheffield facility receives manganese castings from our Scotland facility and assembles them into crossing assemblies. We also make a wide range of bespoke manufacturing products for certain customers, ranging from small brackets to buffer stops to engine hatches. The Sheffield facility also offers a central location for transport links to all around the UK and also to major ports for exporting around the globe.
Coming further south again, we end up in San Diego. It's where we produce most of the traditional trackwork components. Lots of machining takes place here. We also have an iron foundry producing some of the associated components that go alongside the trackwork. And again, ensure that we, as Progress Rail UK, can meet the pretty unique needs of the UK network. We produce things that other foundries would find inefficient, difficult to make, but we know the product, we know how it relates, and therefore we're prepared to produce slightly differently to other foundries. And then not too far from here, probably about 6 miles away, we have our Beeston facility, which is a large area to lay out turnouts. The UK is pretty different to other areas of our business insofar as our customers demand that the full turnout is laid out end to end.
This is the point in the process where the engineering designs come together for the teams in the yard to assemble and pre-assemble and prove the designs and the geometries that have been given to us and that we've replicated in the detailed designs. The principal reason for this proving of the assemblies is to maximise on time and sub-assemblies away from site to enable the site teams to have minimal time on track, thus economising and using their time best in the tight possessions that they're given on track.
We have got a fantastic product out there. All of our customers know that, and that's why we're here to this day with repeat orders, repeat business, and a quality product, backed up with the service that they get from South Queensferry, from our people in San Diego and all of our other engineers. We just don't sell a part, we sell a service, which is what makes us unique.
See if this moves on automatically. It does. Okay. Bear with me one moment. There we go. So that gives you a bit of an insight into what goes on in a S&C manufacturer. A couple of disclaimers from that video. A couple of comments were made there that might sound a bit out of place. We don't have the biggest factory outside the US for track work, but we do within our own business. And this was an internal video that went on YouTube, so I'm allowed to show it. Also, we do have some people who are very proud and do talk very passionately about their product. And again, it was to showcase to our diverse business what we do here in the UK. Working for an American company, you do have to step up a little bit sometimes. So supplying turnouts is a challenge. You saw there a lot of facilities, there's a lot of people we're employing. And I think it's been talked about today in various ways, but we have a challenge with the renewals, and over the years, that graph is since 2013. We've seen a marked reduction in renewals across the business, and I'm sure that's something that we know is going to continue for a while. But we have to keep everything open. We don't have the ability to shut things off and stop things. Everything's integrated. Our facilities knock onto each other, so we have to keep everything up and running. We've managed somehow to keep our prices in check relative to inflation, although as you see from that chart there, when volume is there, it is easier to be able to offer a more affordable renewal, and it is definitely getting harder for us. We've had to keep our resources up. Our headcount hasn't actually changed that much in the last 10 to 12 years. The reason is that the world's changing. There's more admin. We're involved in different parts of the process. We have to keep engineers trained. We've got people that have left the business with 30, 40 years experience, and you can't just recreate that. So we've had to keep that knowledge flow coming through in order to be able to offer the services we do. And despite the reduction in volume and the reduction in opportunity to make money, frankly, we've had to keep investing. Machines, you know, they have a shelf life, and we had a huge flood. Oh, sorry, wrong button. There we go. As you can see on the top right there, we had a huge flood last year that could, or 2 years ago, sorry, that could have killed the business, but we've had to throw a lot of money into it. So as a manufacturer, it's not getting any easier for us, and we're trying to work through that. So what is it we bring to Renewals? How do we help the renewals process? If I had to sum it up, and the slide's quite busy, the key strengths we bring, I think, really, from the team that you saw on the video and some of the things discussed there, really knowledge and expertise, continually building our engineering teams, our logistics teams, and our shop floor, bringing in lots of apprentices. We've increased our apprentice scheme twofold in the last 2 years, and really trying to bring that next level on. And actually, I was talking to Joan last night, things like bringing PWI groups onto the factory to show them what we do and, you know, grow that knowledge across the market. The other thing that we really are quite proud of, although when you're thinking about affordability and looking at balance sheets, it's not the best thing, we have a back catalogue that I'd say rivals the Beatles. 2,000 crossing patterns, some of them up to sort of 15, 16 metres long, filling 3 warehouses in Scotland. But we have to keep them there, because when the requirement comes to fix a crossing or to build a Lewisham, the picture there of Lewisham that was presented by my colleague Chris Belton at the last one of these, you know, we have to be ready to do it, and we have to be able to mobilise quickly. So we keep that there, and that helps the renewals process flow through. So I opened saying that we have limited ability. Oh, sorry. I was looking for a reassuringly expensive Stella Artois advert. There wasn't one, so we decided to go with perfection has its price. And it does. We do offer, we do deliver well. We do work very closely with everyone across the industry that we work with, whether that's contractors or Network Rail. But it does come at a price. We have to keep investing, and we have to keep people knowledgeable and ready to deliver. I said earlier that we don't have the ability to particularly make renewals more affordable, being a relatively small part of the stack. That's potentially incorrect. There are opportunities that we see and are involved in, and changes, and I think someone mentioned inconsistency across the market. We do see different projects, different routes, suggesting different things, and we do see some value in that. Now, while we can't sit here and prescribe what the best option is for renewal, we can at least highlight some of the benefits that we see. The first one I want to talk about is a rationalisation of renewals. We do see, and we've got quite a few projects on the go that we call heavy maintenance. This is where we can leverage manufacturer expertise to streamline the renewals process. It's been used a lot in depot situations, but we have seen it on some non-depot applications as well. And we do believe that with the knowledge that we've got in the business, we can support works delivery teams to build heavy maintenance projects rather than the full renewal. The main advantages would be that you get the asset equivalent to the original, cost and lead time reductions, improved efficiency from the internal management of the process. Manufacturers and Network Rail can collaborate on site visits to define the scope, assess geometries, and optimise delivery. Finalised layout drawings and CAD models mean that you've got the record there for the ongoing maintenance to keep the cost down through the life of the asset. One thing that we talk to a lot of projects about is getting us involved earlier, early design support. Often the manufacturer is involved relatively late in the process, and lots of decisions have been made where we end up offering what you've asked for, but we could have made something that was more maintainable, more manufacturable. So getting involved earlier, and also reducing change. Lots of projects that we see do not follow a conforming design process. And towards the end of the process, we'll see lots and lots of last-minute changes, things that do disrupt the flow through the factory and that do add risk to a project. We've started more and more providing what we call a skinny drawing. This is an engineering drawing based on the Form A, but it sets out a lot of the what we will actually manufacture. And it allows us to make changes early in the process. We can look at the running edges, where joints are, the bearers, panel sizes and weights, and support the definition of the project, rather than just trying to react to what's already been decided. It's something that we need to invest in, and with more customers looking for that sort of process and engaging us early, we're keen to do that, and we'll bring the resources in to do that. Can manage risk for supply and delivery, and help with the optimization of the product. And not just looking externally, I mentioned that we're part of a big group. You know, we're not just here making S&C, we are part of Caterpillar. We are looking at additive manufacturing, we are looking at automation. Can we bring more automation into our factories? The prevalence of AI is now starting to impact us as well, and we're looking at how we can bring that into our manufacturing processes. Ultimately, there's probably some upfront investment, but longer term, does it give us a more predictable business? Does it help us make sure that the renewal is more affordable? I mentioned apprentices, and I mentioned monitoring technology. We're looking at how can we design our turnout to perform better as well. So we're trying to do a lot that we can. The drawings on there, that is a skinny drawing, so if you've not seen one before, that's what it looks like. That can be used. Okay. So I won't say any questions, because I think that comes later. Didn't know that when I was given the brief. But yeah, just, as I say, really wanted to just show you through the challenges of a manufacturer and what they are. Thank you. Shit.